All right, guys, welcome back. So we are talking about which one would be a good measure of center. And in this case, both of them would be good because we don't have an outlier that's throwing off our mean. So let's go ahead and write that down, that both would be a good measure of center. But in this case, when you're talking about a measure of center, remember that that is a number that's representing a single number that's representing and describing your entire data set. So when we're only using one number, we want to make sure that we are being as accurate and detailed as possible. So because of that, we're going to want to use the mean. But in this case, the mean is more detailed, is more accurate. Okay, so then we would want to use the mean in that case just because it has that 0.75. If it didn't, then both would be a good measure of center because they're both very close to each other and there's no outlier. But because we do have that small little extra detail, we'll want to use the mean in that case. All right, well, suppose another hiker takes 92 minutes to complete the hike. Find the mean and the median times, including this new time. So add in 92, what happens? I'm going to let you guys figure that out on your own, and we'll check it together once we return. Or if you have any questions, feel free to email me, okay? So let's go ahead and move over to mode. Mode is going to be the super easiest thing that you've ever learned about because it is just the number that occurs the most. Okay, so mode occurs the most. So basically, you're looking for one number or two numbers, however many, that appears the most times in your data set. So if you look at example 1, we have 5, 8, 13, 15, 17. Well, those are all different numbers, so it's no mode. And yes, you can have no mode. And you also, in example 2, if you look at 3, 5, 7, 13, 3, 7, 9, 3. Well, the number 3 appears 1, 2, 3 times. So our mode in this case would be 3 because it shows up the most. It appears the most. Well, what happens if I put an extra 7 there? Because now 7 has shown up 1, 2, 3 times. Well, then our mode would be 3 and 7. Yes, you can have no mode in a data set, and yes, you can have multiple modes in a data set. So it's just not going to be one number and one number only. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let's look at these. I'll do the first one with you, and then you can do 2 and 3 on your own because this is super easy. So looking at this, 7, I already see 2 sevens, so 1, 2. And then I also see 2 4s, and that's it. So my mode in this case is going to be 7 and 4 because they both appear the most times. They both appear twice, and no other number does that. So both of them would be my mode in this case. All right, so you guys go ahead and do 2 and 3 for homework. All right, and the last one I think that we're going to talk about today is range. Range, again, is very simple, not as easy as mode, but still very simple because range is the difference between the smallest and the biggest number. Smallest and biggest number. So think of it like if you play a sport. What is your throwing range? Like how far can you throw the ball, or what is your kicking range? How far can you kick the ball? So that's kind of what we're talking about here. We're trying to see what is the range between my smallest and my biggest number. How far does it spread out? The very first thing you need to do, always put your numbers in order from least to greatest first. You have to do that just to make sure that you have the smallest number in the right place and the biggest number in the right place. So once you do that, so they've already ordered our numbers, we can see that 12 is our smallest number and 62 is our biggest number. And remember, difference means what? Difference means subtract. So then you just take 62 minus 12, and 50 would be your range. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? All you're doing is subtracting.